What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of Deep Fat Fried. See a lot of shit talk in these comments over here.
100% less shit in britches on this episode.
Yeah, that is true. Zero shit in britches on this episode. So
late bullshit, right on time. No TJ involved. It's crazy how you're able to be on time if there's no TJ.
Very true.
It's like an ease. It's like, oh, okay. Paul shows up, I show up, the show happens. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Yep.
There's no drama. There's no like TJ, what happened? The 1001 tales of TJ.
Yeah, if you get a tale, sometimes it's just like, oh, sorry.
They claim to be professionals, won't even show up for the show. What are you talking about? Like, am I not here? Am I not here? The fuck? I don't even get that. Like, me and Paul are here. They claim to be professionals. We showed up. And you're talking about TJ? That's totally fine. Totally valid criticism, in my opinion.
Got our requisite spammer here at the beginning. Gotta love it. Nuked immediately. Didn't even get to finish his.
It's a meme. It's a meme.
Screed. It's a meme. Oh, okay. It's a meme.
That old one. It's a meme. Don't you know it's a meme? I don't know every meme. Sorry.
Yeah, me neither. I'm really falling behind on memes now that the Zoomers have taken over memes. I'm really like, I don't get it.
Yeah, when that baton was passed, that was the end of memes for me. It's like, wait a minute, Zoomers make memes now? All right, I'm out of here. I
can
really
understand like
before.
Millennial memes. Sure, I can get a millennial meme here and there, but these Zoomer memes are just, I mean, bottom of the barrel.
I don't even know any Zoomer memes. I'll have to do an episode just on Zoomer memes so I can educate myself with disgust, and then be told I don't understand it. It's like, well, this is the explanation the internet gave. Yes, but you don't get it. It's like, well, but that's what I don't know. Then the information is flawed. Go correct the information then. Well, it is what it means, but it's not what it means. It's like, all right, I got you. See yourself out now. No, I don't really give a fuck about memes. I mean, occasionally a meme will get to me, and I'm like, that meme. But for the most part, it's like an attempt at humor that usually just falls flat, in my opinion. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's most people, honestly. Most people, like, they run across a well-timed, pertinent meme or whatever, and then, they'll giggle every once in a while, but it takes a special type of fucking internet neckbeard to just live memes 24/7, 365. There are people out there who, like, if they were more popular than they were, they'd be classified as memes themselves. They've just become memes,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can become a meme. It's not something you can choose, though. It's always usually like a big one back. Like I would say maybe 7 or 8 years ago was like you like putting a person in like a crazy scenario, but then they stick out. Like it's like the dude in the crowd that's like whoa or some shit like that, or the kid and then there's the fire and it's like smiling and shit like that. It's like, so it has to be like some like juxtaposition usually.
Yeah, you usually have to do something meme worthy in public, which excludes a lot of people.
Yeah, like I don't even know how you. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna become a meme. Like that's not gonna happen. Come on, guys. I deaf. Come on, what?
What are they saying? I deaf.
I deaf? Like, what do you? You're deaf and you can't hear us anyways, so it's irrelevant. You don't need any volume, period.
Even if we were to explain it, you wouldn't be able to hear it.
Yeah. So, Paul, I watched a segment about incels recently, and the joke is on you. I found my waifu in a Kara run. Okay. I mean, Paul's not sweating it. Like, if you found something,
whatever.
Like, why would Paul be sweating that? Like, oh no, you found somebody. I'm so sad.
I was heavily invested in you being alone for your entire life, so I am devastated by this news.
I didn't forget my sunglasses. I don't always wear them. Someone's like, you forgot your sunglasses. Like, no, I didn't. I didn't forget them. I know where they are.
TJ went woke. Yep, he did.
TJ's super woke, dude. Which is
he bowed to the woke mob and became the very thing he criticized.
Yeah, I used to get big making those anti-SJW videos. Now TJ is the SJW. Dun dun dun. How'd that happen? No, I always wondered how 2016 TJ would react to 2022 TJ. So if I could make that video, take a time machine, go back in time, get him, bring him to the future, like this is what you become. Because I don't know, like, cause like TJ, he did a 180 with his content. He really did. I mean, but he's done that before. Like when he started off on YouTube, he was more like libertarian and stuff. You know, he had a lot of those kind of things.
Yeah, and he was like heavily focused on the atheism thing, obviously. And then,
Well, yeah.
I mean, certain things just kind of become passe, and you got to either ride the fucking wave or sink to the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think atheism shit is definitely going to be coming back, though. Just mainly not because it really needs to, because I mean, obviously the arguments haven't really changed much. Just the fact that you have a whole new crop of like idiots and fascists in America trying to. I know fascist is a new internet buzzword that is means nothing, but the actual fascists that we're talking about, that want to basically erode the separation of church and state. So obviously,
oh yeah, I mean they don't just want to, they're doing it. Yeah,
they're doing it. Yeah, that's why it's relevant in my opinion again, but not for it shouldn't be relevant though.
I mean, I personally think, honestly, like when it comes to people that are concerned about problems in the world, I think that religion never stopped being relevant. It just like there was a whole kind of generation of people who looked at atheism or whatever and identified that with their parents. And they were just like, this is my like that guy my dad used to watch, The Amazing Atheist. You know what I mean? He used to just sit and talk about religion all day. I don't even give a fuck, man. I don't care what religion you are. And look, dude, I wish the world was that way. I wish the world was like live and let live. You can believe in your weird little deity over here. But the problem is that people that believe in this shit, they get together in groups and they influence the government.
And like, hey, everyone should believe in our shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good enough to just be free to believe and worship and whatever you want. It's now you've got to do it too. And if you don't, I'm just going to legislate it into being into your life. And they've never stopped trying to do that. The whole march of religion into politics never stopped. It was just people got tired of talking about it, and people got tired of listening to it. And I think that you're right. I think that enough time has passed now to where there's going to be a new generation of people going, wait a minute, what the fuck? Why is this Christian person up my ass sniffing around for the milk dud? Like, what? Who invited them into my asshole? And why are they fucking just setting up shop like they've now they do. They legally live there up my asshole. Oh, shit. So, yeah.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to give this person credit, a big person that rallied about this on the internet, even though he's an idiot in most other respects, was Dusty Smith. Like, he definitely, I remember him talking about it, and everyone's like, you're an idiot about that. Like, no, atheism is one, like, this shit. But he actually did say that. As much and I can't stand the dude personally. So, it takes a lot for me to say that about anybody like that. But he was talking about that stuff. I will give him credit for that. Which I'm sure if he ever hears that, he'll love that. Because I mean, in person, I'd probably knock that dude out if he came to my house or I saw him. Like, I'm not as a kid in my house, but if I was around him, like, I would knock his ass out. I have no problem telling him that.
Hey, but
like, I would. You gotta give
credit where it's due.
But yeah, but credit where credit's due.
There's that, and then he invented the T-shirt as well.
Well, yeah, of course.
You got to give him that. You got to give him that.
But I will say that credit to him. He was talking about this shit, and like, you guys are ignoring this, and like, a lot of people were. I think a lot of people were asleep on that, like, because. I think everyone just felt like, oh, atheism is an all-time high. And like someone in the chat said, like, well, Kyle Kalinske said, well, he's basing it off the news, of the day, which is like Pew Research. They research and ask people about their readings on religion and stuff. And generally, the numbers of people identified with no religion or unaffiliated have gone up, up, up. And of course, the number of people going to church has gone down, down, down. So that group of people is like, oh shit, like if you're in decline, you're not happy. You want to be obviously growing, especially in a capitalist society, because we see growth as like, that's really the ultimate thing that we all want to see, growth. And if you're not growing, you're like, oh, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what facet of your life. You want to see growth. So I think that's what we see here. And it's like their marketing campaign is like, we'll just control you. Like, we don't have to actually convince you. We'll just control you.
Have you considered this though, Scotty? Fart. You considered that?
I've not considered that. That's a good point, though.
So what do we got today, Scotty? We got a couple of topics, don't we, to roll on through?
I think so.
Some stuff to look at, some stuff to laugh at, some stuff to learn. Got a little,
maybe some stuff to cry at.
Oh shit! I didn't realize I'd be crying this episode.
I don't know how easily you cry, Paul.
I mean, it depends on the situation, you know.
Of course, I figured as much. All right, share screen now. Of course, you gotta click the tiny little share system audio. Of course, we're gonna do that. Once more into the breach we go.
I don't know, man. Whoa. I'm hearing an echo of myself.
Are you?
Yeah. All of a sudden.
I don't know.
Hmm.
The echo. Let's see.
That's weird.
Well, I've shared screen, but I'm not actually. I don't think I'm sharing any of their audio. Let's see.
Am I on the same tab that you just shared?
You shouldn't be. So that you're actually on a different browser.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? That's what it is. Okay. All right, let me do something. It's because I'm actually on Chrome here, and it's over there. I guess that's probably what the issue is. So I'm actually gonna have to open another Brave tab up. I'm gonna have to switch over. Okay. I actually didn't think about that being an issue, but that actually is an issue.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just like, what the fuck? What broke?
Well, I use Brave because it blocks all the stupid ass ads. All right, guys.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna leave the room really briefly, and I'm gonna hop back in on Brave.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Remove.
Scotty's gonna go get Brave. He's gonna go hop on the bravery. Biblically accurate, Paul. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's gonna be a whole new kind of like crop of people that are covering atheism, you know, from with a communication style that's a little more Zoomerish. Because I don't think I can do it again, man.
Like I don't get that shit.
There's only so many times you can talk about and pick apart the same arguments, and really, when it comes down to religious people, there's basically like 4 different arguments that you get. You get good old Pascal's wager. You get the cosmological argument. You get the argument from popularity. You know what I mean? And like once you've defeated those 18 different ways, it's kind of like, okay, now what?
Now what? What do you want me to do now?
Well, happy birthday, Devin.
All right, Paul. You're in an echo now?
Nope.
That's what it was. Always something.
Always gotta be fucking something.
Gotta be something. All right. I actually have a document pulled up, so I gotta reopen that. I mean, you figure I would know everything there is to know about these movies, just by looking at them. Oh yes, Norbit. I remember watching that one.
I don't even need to see the fucking trailer to not want to see this movie.
Yeah, like this poster itself just does that.
It's disturbing. It's disturbing in multiple ways because that's Eddie Murphy pinning Eddie Murphy down to fuck Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? It's very strange. Like this whole like Eddie Murphy doing 5 or 6 characters in the movie thing, like it worked one time in The Nutty Professor. It worked. It was probably the best thing about that movie.
Yeah, the clumps.
The clump side of things. And this Norbit movie came after that, and it took it too far. Like nobody wants to see Eddie Murphy fuck Eddie Murphy. No. Now, maybe not nobody, but very few people want to see that.
So if you guys haven't seen Norbit, which I have not seen, I remember when it came out. I remember this is a full court marketing press on this movie, but it's a mild-mannered guy who is married to a monstrous woman, meets the woman of his dreams, and he schemes to find a way to be with her. Oh.
Yeah, and they're all, by the way, they're all Eddie Murphy.
And it's all Eddie Murphy all the time. I will just say this. There is about no fucking way that I think this movie could be made now because of some of like the opening scene will show you why.
If you think you had a rough start,
ooh, you ugly Brooklyn, you can't give these away.
if you
At this point, you try to do that in a movie.
You've offended like 7/8 of humanity now. At this point, you've offended 7 to 8. But yeah, I mean that type of shit used to just blow right by in the 90s.
Did he do Yellowface? Yes, because that guy is played by Eddie Murphy.
feel you had a tough childhood.
Play with that.
If you believe your whole
Yeah, so basically a bunch of bad Asian stereotypes.
life has been one bad break after another.
You got a girlfriend? No. What you do now?
Meet a nice guy
Norbit.
Norbit.
with a huge problem.
Don't adjust my seat. Look, that scientifically proved that you was adjusting my seat.
That's not science.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to get in the mindset that existed at that time, because it really was like this type of fucking garbage was popular. Like,
Oh god, it was. Yeah, dude, totally popular. So I got a little information about how this came into being. So after the success of Shrek, DreamWorks co-founder and CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg signed up Eddie Murphy to star in a live-action follow-up, and they were looking for the right film to do it. Like, I mean, they knew they wanted Eddie Murphy back, but they didn't know what. Norbit seemed like a good fit. I don't know how. I don't know why. But for some reason, this was the script. Like, yeah. Following on from playing multiple characters in family comedies, as he did. So Eddie Murphy actually did this not only in the Nutty Professor, but also in Dr. Dolittle. DreamWorks production president Adam Goodman brought the script to Brian Robbins, who was excited about the prospect of working with Eddie Murphy. I mean, Eddie Murphy's, is a legend in his own right. I mean, he's made some horribly, horrible creative decisions in movies, and he definitely went more like mainstream, especially from like watching Eddie Murphy and Raw, to these family friendly films. But still, Eddie Murphy's got a lot of talent. Norbit was the first of 3 films where director Brian Robbins and Eddie Murphy worked together. They later collaborated on for Meet Dave, also terrible, and 1,000 Words, which I have no idea what that is. Oh, okay. Maybe is that the one where the guy says 1,000 words and he's dead or something?
I think so.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, I vaguely remember some of this stuff. So we'll watch a little bit more, then I'll give you guys a little bit more information.
I'm just taking. What am I gonna do?
Let me tell you, just between the two of us, I can't keep Norbit off me. Boom, bam, boom, boom. But I ain't mad at him. Hey.
Eddie Murphy.
Run for your life!
Eddie Murphy.
It's a horror show.
And Eddie Murphy.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was
DreamWorks Pictures.
The joke is she's fat, and this song's supposed to be she's hot.
I mean, that's basically this movie. I got a fat girlfriend and I want a skinny girlfriend. That's what this movie is basically.
Yeah, the body shaming movie.
Yep.
If you're fat, you have no meaning in life. You're the butt of a joke. So it's actually interesting. Murphy wrote the story after watching videos online where really large women, African American women, would beat up their tiny husbands, which he found hilarious.
Wow.
That's the genesis of this movie. It's like Eddie Murphy's like, really large woman beats his ass. All right, that's good. Although always intended to be a comedy, early drafts of the script are apparently much darker. So Norbit was actually a dark film at one point. That's kind of hard to imagine.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, Norbit was actually supposed to be, I mean, like maybe a dark comedy. It might have worked then. I don't know.
Presents.
Excuse me. What? Are you wearing bottoms? Of course I'm wearing bottoms. Okay.
What's that?
He's fat. It's Eddie Murphy, but he's fat.
Mother of God!
Norbit.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't ya?
Don't you wish your girlfriend was
Ugh.
So definitely, I'm convinced not to see it. I was convinced by this not seeing this when it came out.
I've never seen, I've seen scenes from Norbit, but I've never sat down and watched Norbit once in my entire life. So this is accurate. I think it convinced a lot of us. I think this was like the end of it. We were just like, okay, all right.
Eddie
like
Murphy.
the
it's
whole
like-
Eddie Murphy thing is starting to get a little overdone. You know what I mean? The Clumps were cool 5 years ago, but now this is starting to go out of control.
Dude,
This is
the family dinner with the Clumps. It's some of the funniest shit ever, dude. That's why
Yeah,
I know that's why they did it. Cause like when they all start farting at the dinner table, it's so simplistic, but it just works so well. It's like it just has like a realism to it.
yeah. I mean, it was funny. It was funny to see one time Eddie Murphy play 8 roles in a movie, but you know, it very quickly wore out.
So according to Thandie Newton, who's the love interest in the movie, during filming, the stand-ins were very convincing, and she frequently filmed scenes with them and not Murphy himself. I actually learned something about this too. It was actually Rick Baker, famous practical effects artist, that actually did the bodysuits, the makeup, the wigs, and everything for this movie. So that actually was top-notch stuff, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't fight. Like, it's better than 99% of fat suits that you see in movies, and old age makeup as well is better in this than you see in 90% of movies. So yeah, it was first rate. Like, they spent a lot of money on this for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. Baker praised Murphy, saying he really makes this stuff come to life, which I'm sure he does, and he never complains. When we did The Nutty Professor, he spent 80 odd days in the makeup chair. As much as I love makeup, not even I would have been complaining by the end, but Eddie didn't. So I mean, that's a guy that just has lived in the world of makeup and prosthetics, and basically just doing practical effects. And he was like, even I would have bitched. I would have said something. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, look, Eddie Murphy's a consummate professional. I mean, like, he brought a level of entertainer that I don't think many people could pull off, even with a shit movie like this. So I'll commend him for that. But I would not, this movie, I do not commend him for. It's dog shit. I mean, I know this must be a shock to everyone here.
It's rotten all around.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know there's controversy about these sayings. These are rigged to a degree, of course, but you don't have to rig it in Norbit's case. It'd only be rigged if it was actually positive. And to be honest with you, I think 53% itself is rigged, because that's way too high for this fucking movie.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty high. But like, you know what? Audiences are always, there's always an element of an audience that's way more forgiving of things that turns other people off. Like, the audience score almost always beats out the fucking whatever the other one.
Oh yeah, audience score. I mean, generally. Now, honestly, the thing that's really rare to see is either when they both align, or one is like dramatically different, where it's like critics like 30%, but audiences are like in the high 90s. But like I said, they can be manipulated, so you have to look at how many people are actually rating it, and what's the rating in the commentary, like the reviews. Because I mean, you can leave a review as an audience member and say like good. It can be 1 star or whatever. You can give it the worst rating possible. So. Of course,
Yep.
Peyton. Here's Peyton going, it's a great movie. Yeah, whatever, dude. I mean, you know, obviously someone agrees with you, but not many. And that's an appeal to popularity, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. It's funny too. I actually didn't realize this. Coming off his Oscar-nominated performance in Dreamgirls, the talented but inconsistent Eddie Murphy plays 3 roles in Norbit. Yeah, it's crazy. Academy Award nominated role to this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he's thinking. Let's see some of the reviews.
He was thinking he was going to cash a fat fucking check, and he probably did.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Yeah. I mean, fuck, he's Eddie Murphy. He probably got paid $20 million to do this piece of shit. Even if you go back decades, body fascism has really been so brazen or so unfunny, horrifying.
Body fascism. I love it.
3 Eddie Murphys is 3 too many. Ooh, it's offensively bad. Oh God. I'm never going to think the same again. Do the monstrous movie getting in my nerves. Oh God.
Oh God.
Into your nerves, not just on your nerves, into them.
Holy shit. It got into them.
This is the director, Brian Robbins, defending this piece of shit. Let's see. I had some commentary from here. Well, the jury may still be out on America's intelligence. Robbins has given up making movies for critics. If you read the reviews on a consistent basis in all films, you realize the majority of films just get murdered, Robbins said. The only films that get good reviews are the ones that nobody sees. Yeah, like The Godfather and Shawshank Redemption. No one's ever seen those movies, and they're not highly rated. Fucking idiot. I just don't think you can make movies for critics. Why don't you just make a good movie so the critics don't have to shit on your piece of shit movie? How about that? Have you
That could
considered
work.
that one? I always love that kind of shit. Like, oh, critics tear apart everything. It's like, dude, look what you made. Like, are we being real here? Like, you made a turd.
Yeah, you made something worse than a turd. It's just like a festering fucking pile of puke sitting in the sun for fucking 2 days. Just got that brown crust on the outside of it. You know what I mean? It's just nah. It's gross. It's not all that fun. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the fucking shit, but from everything I've seen from it, it's not funny. Eddie Murphy is
trailer's
annoying.
supposed to sell you on a movie. So I mean, like, just viewing that trailer through that lens, I mean, I saw it when it came out in theaters. I saw the trailers. I saw the marketing press for this, and I'm sure you did too, Paul. And you were both probably just were like, ugh, like revulsion.
Nope, not gonna be seeing that. That's not where I'm at.
So yeah, that definitely. I was convinced not to see it. This is another this is another movie where I remember this coming out. This came out in 2012, which in my opinion, that should have just been the end of the world.
I mean, this one, like, I gotta be honest with you. All the information I need to not see this one is right here. It's got Andy Samberg in it, who I think he was funny when he did like some Lonely Island shit, but I've never seen him in a movie or anything that I thought he was great. And it's an Adam Sandler joint.
Yeah, dude, Lonely Island, he had that shit down for like a little while. I like that stuff, but you're right. Every time I see him in a movie, he's just typecast as like awkward, nerdy, well-off white dude. That's basically what he is in a movie. Yeah, and that's what he is in this movie. Shocking. I can't, guys,
Yeah.
that's basically what he is.
Big time shocker.
And of course, it's Adam Sandler with Happy Madison, which we all know. I mean, that's basically a scam to make money.
Of course.
So unfortunately, guys, we have the trailer here for you. I apologize in advance. We'll just skip all this bullshit and we'll start it. Okay. So, Paul, what do you think the premise of this movie is? So that's my boy. What do you think
Okay.
I guarantee you're going to be wrong. So
okay.
I'm just giving you full. It's definitely out there. It's definitely out. If you haven't heard the story a million times.
Sure. If I was just gonna guess from the poster and what I know about Adam Sandler, it's about, like, I don't know. I want to say a dude that doesn't know his dad that finally meets his dad, and his dad is an insane fucking weird idiot murderer piece of shit or whatever the fuck.
I don't know if he's a murderer, but that's pretty close.
Is it? Okay, all right, yeah.
Well, the beginning premise I think is really the more unique part about it.
Dude, Peyton again with this movie was hilarious, dude. Peyton's just part of the fucking target audience for this shit, man.
I mean, look, you can like whatever the fuck you like, dude, but this movie is fucking garbage. I've actually unfortunately seen this one because this is one of the ones like watch at Steve's house kind of things.
Right.
Donnie's. Oh yeah. Went a little too far.
Everybody, the fact that this has resulted in a pregnancy leaves me no choice.
He knocked up his teacher.
Oh.
Yeah. That dude. So that's young Adam Sandler in this movie. He knocked up his teacher.
That's dark.
So at first I was kind of like, well, that's like at least something. Okay, Peyton, this how we know you have issues. I laughed so hard at the incest twist.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay, whoa, all right. Anyways,
The maximum penalty.
Take care of our baby, Donnie!
Dumbass.
So what the IRS say?
You haven't paid taxes since '94, Donnie.
I'm going to prison if I don't get 43 lives.
So he's just doing he's doing his little Nicky voice again.
I'm doing this voice again.
Dad, I swear I'll find my brothers and I'll save you, Dad.
I'm gonna do it.
Boy, he moved out when he turned 18. I haven't seen him since.
He is one of the youngest hedge fund managers in the financial industry.
Maybe your son can help you.
Todd, your old man is here.
Yeah, remember that horrible thing that like no one ever liked when people did it, which is like the "what's up" thing, where someone would scream it, and then another idiot would invariably go "What's up?"
Wasn't that like it was like a Bud Light commercial for the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like dudes kept coming into the room and everybody would go, "What's that?" Yeah. Yeah, that was a meme for a while, but of course, like that's the joke. Is that he does, this ancient fucking meme as soon as he comes into the room.
Naturally, like that's how most bad comedy is. It's like 3 or 4 years behind like what everyone's doing.
Donnie, what are you doing here?
What type of guy would miss his son's wedding?
You were basically the worst parent ever.
I was awesome!
You let me eat cake and lollipops for breakfast every day.
That's what you asked for.
Man, this is wacky. I can't believe I've never seen this movie. This is wacky fun right here.
I feel really wacky right now.
You're supposed to say no.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was 13, 14 years old.
You know what I remember? Is me having to drive you home because you were too drunk.
Somebody's hammered, they have another guy drive home.
I was 8.
Yeah, Rex Ryan's tenure with the Buffalo Bills no longer the low point of his career. His cameo in this is, I can't believe they got anybody to cameo in this.
This is gonna be awesome!
That's an Adam Sandler film. You know who Adam Sandler is, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a funny movie. He's a funny guy. I mean, yeah. It's not hard to sell someone on that proposition because I mean, Adam Sandler does have name recognition, and if most people were asked to be in a shitty Adam Sandler movie, they're probably going to be in it. Just to be honest, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if I was asked by Adam Sandler, like, no, would I want to do it? Probably not. But I'm just like the allure of doing it is just too strong. It's like I want to be in a terrible movie. I'm fine with it.
Of course. Whoa.
Damn.
Dude, was that Eddie Murphy in drag again?
Get that money. Actually, just trying to be a dad.
Or did they get an actual woman to play the role this time?
I think so.
Bathing suit in the shower?
I can't even take my shirt off in front of other people.
What did I do this?
Let me jog.
Guys, you ready for the best joke of all time? Now, people at home, I want everyone to be careful right now because it's about to be revealed. One of the greatest gags in comedic history.
Jog your memory.
The new kids on the block. Their heads are all warped now.
Yeah, it's because I got it when I was in 3rd grade. My body grew.
Oh shit, I went back. No.
13, 14 years old.
We don't need.
Remember? Is me having to drive you home because you were too drunk.
Somebody's hammered, they have another guy drive home.
That doesn't
I
matter.
was 8.
You drove like a champ, too. Huh? Give me another chance. Get to know me a little bit.
You guys have fun at the bachelor party.
Oh, yeah, we went way back.
Don't forget, you're gonna go to prison on Tuesday. You have got to get that money.
So that's the subplot to this too. He owes the IRS a bunch of money,
Can't even take
and his
my
son's
course.
rich. His son's rich, so
Let me jog your memory.
The new kids on the block. Their heads are all warped now.
Yeah, it's because I got it when I was in 3rd grade. My body grew.
even funnier the third time around for me.
That's my boy!
Ever since you showed up, Todd's been acting like a different person.
John, you're set, buddy. Please don't hit me. Here you go, big man.
That's what this trailer has done to me. It's a line drive to my fucking
Yeah,
skull.
dude. I want somebody to fucking just hit a line drive into my face, put me out.
Father's Day. Oh man, did you imagine that? Paul, I don't have the greatest relationship with your father, but maybe this would be the perfect movie to take him to. Then, like, look, I'll meet you there. Like,
No.
I promise.
I don't have a great relationship with my dad, but he's a smart motherfucker. He would not. He would rip on this movie right along with me. It'd end up being a bonding experience, you know.
Yeah. All hail. Oh, let's put it on the screen. Let's see here. All hail Paul. Glad I can finally catch a live show for once. Take my money. Of course, TJ gets 99.6 because it's only fair. Well, I mean, naturally.
Well, thanks for the 15 cents. I appreciate it.
Laugh a little. I don't think anyone's laughing, Peyton. No one's laughing. It's funny.
Like, dude, just the lack of fucking chemistry between the two principal people in this is like I said, the poster tells you everything you need to know. Dude, Andy Samberg sounds like he's reading to a wall. Like he's practicing his lines when he delivers them and not actually connecting with anybody, because there was no genuine connection between the actors in that. This is just a huge cash register to ring for fucking Sandler, who just cranks this garbage out. And look at this, dude. 51% of dupes.
Yet again, dude. But it actually beats Norbit as far as critical ratings.
Yeah, critics liked it better than Norbit. I mean, there was no like yellow face in it, so that probably gets it a few points.
Yeah. Right, yeah. The movie wasn't overtly racist, so there you go. While it does, this is the consensus. While it does represent a new foray into raunch for the normally PG-13 Sandler, because this is rated R, so I guess it's a little more raunchy.
Oh, it's raunchy.
That's my boy finds him repeating himself to diminishing effect and dragging Andy Samberg down with him. No, I think they both just. I think that look, well, maybe have the benefit of it being 2022, but I don't think he dragged him down. Like I think he was right down there with him in the toilet. Let's see.
I can't believe this movie exists. I can't believe all these, like, Adam Sandler has managed to do what he's managed to do. Like, he's managed to just carve out a niche of unwatchable garbage, but somehow still make money on it.
Oh God, yeah, he has. Yet again, Adam Sandler has taken a fairly clever concept for a broad comedy and just detonated it with some of the stupidest, most repetitive gags imaginable. Actually, this is to the point you're talking about, Paul. There's a severe lack of chemistry between Sandler and Andy Samberg, the father-son duo audiences are supposed to be rooting for. So you picked it up just watching the trailer, Paul. But yeah, even the critical reviews of it are like, oh my God.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, like that scene where he has like the fucking Backstreet Boys thing. They couldn't even film it in the same room. They filmed it at different times.
I just don't even know. I don't even know. Film critic Richard Roper, which I mean, look, I don't have a super huge amount of respect for him, but I mean, I have to agree with him. He gave the film an F, calling it ugly, tasteless, deadly, mean-spirited piece of filmmaking, and would later call it I guess so, and would later call it the worst film of 2012. Justin Chang,
that's a big distinction there.
Variety called it a shameless celebration of degenerate behavior, a work of relentless vulgarity and staggering moral idiocy. Well, actually makes me want to see it. Half in the bag, called the film pathetic, painful, and went on to criticize Sandler as a comic, suggesting he was unable to create humor that was not based on childish jokes. I completely agree with Half in the Bag. And they're pretty famous for just ripping on and hating Adam Sandler and Happy Madison Productions, which, I mean, I can't really blame them there.
I mean, they and everybody else.
Now, this next one, I don't know. This might have people split, but I mean, it looked pretty bad to me. This looks like a movie that I would like one performance in it, but I don't think I would like anything else. I think you guys will see why.
Oh my God.
And I think you know what I'm talking about as far as like the one performance I want to see in this.
Yeah, I want to see Nick Cage with a sword. But that's it.
Yeah, that's it though. That's like the only thing. Like, so like part of me was like, yeah. But then I watched the trailer and I'm like, no, this is just completely fucking ridiculous. I'll give you guys the premise because this one you definitely need to explain to you a little bit. Every 6 years, an ancient order of Jiu Jitsu fighters joins forces to battle a vicious race of alien invaders. But when a celebrated war hero goes down in defeat, the fate of the planet and mankind hangs in the balance. So to me, it kind of sounds like a Predator meets Mortal Kombat thing almost.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
I don't know. You guys can judge that yourselves. Here is this awesome trailer. I'm sure everyone's going to be convinced. This is actually a pretty recent one, too. This is 2020. So this one we didn't have to go too far back to find the turd. Let's see. And boom.
You know what I don't understand? How the hell are you still alive?
CGI, bad CGI, bad CGI.
Pretty bad fool. The comet you see in the sky right now passes over the Earth every 6 years and causes a portal. But when it's open, we get a visitor from a distant galaxy. Poet
Oh,
warrior in the
oh my God. Yeah, it is. They
It's
didn't even do it?
literally just Predator.
Yep.
He comes here looking for a fight.
It's like lame Ninja Predator.
Yeah.
Chosen Jiu Jitsu. If he doesn't get it, he stays and he kills everything. That is Alien Politics 5 through 15. Now you are all the chosen Jiu Jitsu fighters.
Okay, so
You know
yeah,
what?
it is.
When it's actually succeeded in making me not want to see the Nicolas Cage performance in this. So now I don't want to see anything in it.
Yeah, there's nothing to even really want to see.
Like even the Nick Cage in it is bad. That's not a good sign, you know.
And apparently
Ooh.
he's like barely in this, and he's in it for like it's like 40 minutes in. You have to wait to get the Nick Cage too.
Poor Nick, fuck him. Poor everybody else. Nick Cage is a fucking multi-millionaire.
Yeah, guys, do you think Nick Cage has even fucking seen this movie? I
Yeah.
guarantee you not. He got a
Do you
fucking.
think he
fat
did it for
paycheck.
free? He did it for free on the hopes it would become big. No, he got he cashed probably got like a cool mill to be in this movie.
Yeah, probably something like that.
But as long as you die bravely, no one else will have to. He's crazy, like me.
Tony Jaa can do some crazy shit, but I'm just gonna watch Ung Bak. I don't want to see that. Not this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this just looks really bad. Like all the highlight shit they're showing us is not. Oh wait, let's see. Ninja Cage.
Yeah, I'll watch. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, like the most I would do for this is like, I would watch like the scene he's in with the sword. Like I'd look up that clip and watch that. That's about it though. I would never actually watch the movie.
$10 to be used on the sloppiest, most reprehensible garbage you could possibly imagine residing at your local Burger King. Nope.
Nope.
I'll spend it on something else though.
Dude, like, here's the thing with Burger King. It's not even gonna be slop. It's gonna be dried. They don't really do slop. They do like overly dried out shit. That's what they do.
27 years after Jurassic Park, there's no excuse for the CGI being this laughably bad. Well, yeah, there is. It's cheaper to make it that way. So you can afford the overhead of having Nick Cage in your movie, so you cheap out on everything else.
All right, so guys, chat, here's your chance to participate. What do you think the budget of this movie was? And Paul, I'm gonna ask you too. What do you think? How much did they spend making this movie? So we'll have a follow-up question too, which I think
basically has one location. It's just like a hut out in the woods or whatever. It seems like there wasn't
a lot
like
of CGI sets and shit.
Yeah, CGI sets. Really just shitty looking fucking alien. So they didn't spend much on that. Like a couple grand for the alien suit or something. I'm gonna say it cost. Well, because you got to take into account what Nick Cage's piece was too.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say it cost $3 or $4 million.
Hollywood accounting is a hell of a beast. This movie's budget was reported to be $25 million.
Oh my god!
I don't know
it's
how.
a fucking scam. It's a money laundering scam.
I mean, yeah, that's the only way that makes any sense. Now the gross of this movie, even more pathetic. This movie grossed only $100,000.
I mean, I'm shocked it got that much. This looks awful.
Yeah, you much better off watching this Richard Stanley's return to directing and In Color Out of Space than you are.
That's a way cooler movie. Yeah,
that's a way
but
more.
Nick Cage
movie.
doesn't care. You know, he's got a philosophy. He just kind of takes whatever work he can get.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really good, and most of the times it's really bad. But whatever, he still cashes the check.
I'm really happy for the Cage-a-sons personally, too. So, of course, but also yet again, still did better than the other two movies. But look, only 500+ ratings.
This audience score, dude, makes me fucking weep for
Yeah,
the future
we have
of
to-
humanity.
We have to go and dive into the audience score here because I mean, obviously critics are gonna say this is dog shit. No one's a real fucking serious critic is gonna take this movie seriously. Oh, what the fuck? Nothing featured. Okay, that I can't even. I want to see the positive one. So here's the Peyton review here because clearly, you know, like we're not, you know, he's probably in the chat like great movie right now.
No, he actually said he didn't like this one.
Oh my God, really? Are you
Yeah,
sure?
so we agree with him for the first time today.
I can't even believe that. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop and be like, no, actually, I watched it again. It's great. Don't be a fool and waste your time on this movie. It's just senseless fight scenes throughout and an alien that looks bad as Mac and me. Okay. A very boring movie with basically no plot, stupid shit, stupid situation.
Mac and me, dude. That fucking movie.
And
Holy
stupider
shit.
resolutions. This person just likes the word stupid a lot. It's a bunch of fight scenes stitched together with random pauses to expose the flimsy plot. Nicolas Cage doesn't even look remotely involved. It's only there to look cool on the posters and trailers. Was not expecting anything. Yeah, so there you go. Disappointed. Dis-a-fucking-pointed. Not as good as the one starring Jet Li and Jet Li. What, Jet Li was in it twice? Okay, and Jason Statham, dude. The one is a horrible fucking movie.
Yes.
I don't even know what this person is smoking. Oh man.
Bro, these are dead on balls, man. I never saw this fucking. Well, I think I actually may have seen this movie, but not on my own dime. Like, I think I may have watched part of it with my mom at some point back in the day.
Stop
But
or
yeah.
my mom will shoot.
This is
Oh,
another
man.
one, just the fucking poster. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah, you have Estelle Getty, Sophia from the Golden Girls, and Rocky, Rambo.
It's a buddy cop movie where the other buddy, instead of being like another hard-boiled cop, is this dude's mom. No.
She did
Nope.
the laundry and washed the dishes. Now she's cleaning up the streets. Do not disrespect Estelle Getty. She's done that herself by appearing in this movie.
Yeah. True.
Like I don't have to do anything. Estelle Getty. I mean, not only is she dead, but I mean, bro. I mean, she made the movie voluntarily. Is it really approved for all audiences, though? Should they turn away in revulsion and horror?
What's going on? You got a jumper up there. Looks like he's gonna do it.
This is Leslie Parks for Channel 8 News.
Oh my god, dude. It's just like ripping off Lethal Weapon.
100%, dude. It's not even like clever. It's just like, what they're doing, Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah, there was a suicide scene in Lethal Weapon. Let's do that because that was good 3-4 years ago. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, this is 1992. This came out, so yeah, several years at this point.
Hey, kid.
Hey, you don't tell me what to do, though. You stay right there. I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it.
No.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You stay away from me.
I mean, if you knew you were gonna be in this movie, you actually might have jumped.
Oh no.
Look, I know I'm not your mother, but I am a mother, and I was just thinking you could talk to me if that's all right.
This is serious up here.
Yeah, hey, let it talk. What do you want? I just want
He's just mad his mom's a better negotiator in this movie than he is.
Mom, stay out of this, okay?
Oh my god.
Mom, stay out of this.
You see, he was very small for his age, and I made him this adorable little wig and a beautiful little dress.
You had to wear a wig and a pretty little dress?
Is he adorable?
I thought I had things bad.
Not close.
Stop.
Oh, please,
Uh,
I've seen before.
just a weird fucking like, let's show off some Stallone ass. You know what I
his
mean?
mom has to come in and
Yeah, there's
okay.
nothing sexier than your mom walking in on you in the shower.
Mom, God, Mom.
Or my mom
Both of you?
will shoot.
Your mom witnessed a murder.
You witnessed a murder.
Get him. We're gonna nail those turkeys.
Oh, come on, Gwen. She's supposed to go back one day.
Watch out.
Look, you can already see it's going to have very nice equipment.
Would you like me to drive?
No.
What is this fucking theme music, dude? It's like I'm at a tropical island. This makes no fucking. This makes fucking zero sense, dude.
I honestly have no clue.
This movie is just so out of whack with reality. Like I'm just watching. It's like I don't know why anyone thought these two were gonna work. It's like, oh well, it's great because like, see, they're different. Like they're so different. It's like, yeah, but you have one person that is a senior citizen that really can't do action scenes of any kind. Now I know it's like they're playing it up like, yeah, you're right. It's like a Lethal Weapon thing where it's like, I'm too old. I'm too old for this shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, oh, but this is like several years fucking beyond that. If like this had come out like maybe a year after, I could understand. But this is like, Lethal Weapon 1 came out like what, like 84 or some shit?
Yeah, I mean, it did spawn a whole lot of buddy cop movies and
It
shit.
did, yeah.
And this is just one of them, apparently, but it's one of the more brazen ones, just literally ripping off the whole formula of Lethal Weapon, but making it a comedy, like a straight comedy.
With your fucking grandma.
I'd say she loves you, Joe. No, my son's is much bigger.
Sylvester Stallone.
Put a machine gun off the back.
Does this make a dick joke with his mom?
Yeah.
This is so weird. This is like the one person. It's like, what? It's like, why does his mom? Okay, I don't know. Well, this is just like it's just kind of a creepy concept. I don't know, man. I just feels weird.
And Estelle Getty.
I wanted it to be a surprise.
It is.
It is.
I'm a mobile shoot.
By the way, girls, Joe is still single.
Officer, secure that megaphone. Excuse me, I think I'm ready to go back in now.
Joe, wait to the crowd.
Please, Maker, stop! Tell you, the guy needs help. Got a jump up there, looks like he's gonna do it.
He's a very nice boy.
What? What? But what? Oh, look, it's Hellraiser Hellseeker, one of the worst Hellraiser movies ever.
Yeah, you want to watch that instead? You probably do after this.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, though. Schwarzenegger actually tricked Stallone into making Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh, I remember that. I didn't know it was this movie, but I remembered Arnold admitting to this.
Well, and I actually have the clip too, because I wanted to make it like, you know, you'll hear things and it's like, did he really say that? You never know. I actually got a little super chat. Replace Getty and Stallone with Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi, and it would make it 20 times better. Scooter and the Hawk for life. Well, thank you, Explicit. So Schwarzenegger fondly recalled the time when the actor seized an opportunity to score a major win over his longtime rival. The actor confirmed a rumor that he was the reason why Stallone accepted a starring role in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. This is what he had to say. So I went in. This was during our war. I said to myself, I'm going to leak out that I have tremendous interest. I know I know it the way it works in Hollywood. I would then ask for a lot of money. So they would say, let's go give it to Sly. Maybe we can get him for cheaper. So they told Sly, Schwarzenegger interested. Here's the press clippings. He talked about that. If you want to grab one away from him, that is available. And he went for it. He went for it.
What a fucking dupe, man. He just got outfoxed.
Yeah, dude.
He got outfoxed.
He fucking completely got outfoxed.
And I guarantee you this did pretty tremendous damage to Stallone's already flagging by this time movie career.
So here's actually the thing where he confirms this. This is from 2019. I made him do the movie, Paul.
Sylvester Stallone. Is it true that you tricked Sylvester Stallone, who is he a friend and a rival or just a rival?
No. In the 80s, he was just a rival.
Just a rival.
It was just competition. It was all about who is making.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Who has more definition in the muscles? Who has more box office success? Who kills more people? Who kills people more creatively? Who has bigger knives? Who has bigger guns? And I started running around with machine guns that were only used for helicopters, mounting on helicopters or on tanks. It was crazy. It was all out war. It was all out war.
So the story goes that you somehow tricked him into making a very bad movie. And is that true?
Yeah.
I like how for even the clip they have like how he tricks Sylvester Stallone into playing a crappy movie. They don't even mention that it's the movie it is because like no one remembers it.
How in the world? How did you manage to do that? How did you pull that off?
Well, because they came to me because they Hollywood knew that I was wanting to get out of just doing action movies and do comedies. That's why I did then Twins and Kindergarten Cop and movies like that.
Yeah, but you actually picked good movies to be in. And I'm not saying, I mean, Schwarzenegger had his fair share of terrible fucking movies he's been in. But yeah, as far as comedies, I mean, Twins still holds up today, I would even say. Kindergarten Cop, probably not as much. But
it's still better than what the class of movie that we're talking about was Stopping My Mom.
Oh, yeah. It's head and shoulders above that.
Thank you. But so they came to me with this other movie, and I forgot what it was called.
Stop or My Mother Will Shoot.
My Mom Will Shoot, exactly. That's right. And so I read the script, and it was a piece of I mean, I said to myself, I'm not going to do this movie. So then they went to Sly, and then Sly called me.
Arnold just said, I can't hear Arnold. He just said the movie, it's a piece of shit. He read the script, and it's like, this is fucking garbage. Yeah, this is a piece of shit.
And he says, hey, have they ever talked to you about this movie? And I said, yeah. I said, I was thinking about doing it.
I'm coming when I think about the movie. Stallone is what is he doing with his career? Oh, I'm coming.
He immediately called him and says, look, whatever it takes, I do the movie. So he did the movie. Wow. And of course, the movie went major into the toilet.
You are diabolical.
Only Arnold's one of the only people that gets away with admitting his Machiavellian schemes and just do thunderous applause and laughter. I tricked him. He's so stupid. It's like he makes shit movie. It's like, God bless him.
Gotta love fucking Arnold, man. I mean, no matter what, you gotta love Arnold.
Yeah, I got like, yeah, you gotta respect the game of Arnold because I mean, yeah, audio is really low. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't. I don't know how to boost it on Brave. I have to fix that issue. I guess Stallone got a little mad, got a little upset that he got tricked into this movie. But I mean, I guess I'd be mad too if I got tricked into making Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. You know, I have to empathize with him there.
Big muscular friend, I saw you the other night on Jimmy Kimmel, kind of making fun of me. You know, telling the whole world about how you tricked me into doing the worst movie ever made. Nah. Does it bother me? Nah. Is it
like translation? Yeah, it bothers me.
Nah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So anyway, as you know,
I mean, bro, you got duped into doing Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. We're not talking you got duped into doing like a turd where it was like, it's a dumb action movie. Like,
yeah, he fucked you. He fucked your career. Like you were too stupid to pass on a bad movie because you wanted to fucking, and he beat you. Like he's got a way better. I mean, I guess you've redeemed a little bit of it, you know, in your later career or whatever. Come back and done some Rocky movies that are all right, but
yeah, Expendables and stuff. I mean, even if you don't like those movies, I mean, like they're definitely successful.
Nobody's going to deny that the trajectory of your career was down and the trajectory of Arnold's career was up at this time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, now, honestly, you know, I would say Stallone probably does better as far as projects he works on and shit. Like Arnold's been in some real shit since he was the governor. He has not really done much since then. Maybe a couple roles that were okay. But nothing really that notable.
Right, which is something you don't. Oh, did I say that? And I've decided.
Oh, he just threw shade. He's like, I write shit. You don't write nothing.
You can't even write.
I decided to write a sequel called For You. Sequel for you called Stop or Your Grandmother Will Beat Your Ass. And I will be directing and producing and mocking it all the way through. Anyway, you keep punching, big guy, and good luck with your film.
Boo fucking who.
Dude, the butthurt is real. Like, I get what he's doing.
Butthurt.
Like, I get what he's doing. I get it. I get this, like, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, you know, and like, I know those two guys have, you know, they've been in movies together since, you know, that. But, I mean, obviously, rubbing salt into the old wound. Never feels good, does it?
Yeah, I was, by the time this movie came out, I was done with the whole Spice Girls thing. There's like 5 minutes where everybody was into the Spice Girls, and then they were just like, oh, this is all they are? This is all they do? Okay. And like 90% of people went, nah. And then the movie came out.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this was like I remember this like it was such a big deal because you're right. Like there's just a total obsession with the Spice Girls. Like I was like 10, roughly when this came out. And I remember going to school and all the girls that I went to school with just love the Spice Girls. It was one of those things where just like I really became, it was like Hanson and the Spice Girls. I kept hearing about all that. I would hear that just incessantly. Like those are the two things. I'm like, ugh. And of course I hated that shit because I had to hear about it just nonstop. So this is another one, Spice World. Now, I'll be fair to this movie and say that there actually is something of a following. And if you're probably a diehard, hardcore Spice Girls fan, then you probably would enjoy it. But I mean, with that huge caveat aside, I don't think this movie's really made.
You know what fucking drives me nuts? I was into this shit. I was into the Spice Girls with everybody else in the world for 5 seconds, and I could still name all the Spice Girls.
Okay, what are their names?
Go back to the picture.
I'll go back. Let's see.
I need the picture as a guide.
No, that's fair enough.
I can still name all the fucking Spice Girls.
Boom. Okay.
All right. So right to left across the back, the blonde is Baby Spice.
Hey, baby.
Okay, and then the black girl was Scary Spice.
Okay, so that's Scary.
Yep. Next to Scary is Sporty Spice. And then that's Posh Spice there. And then down in front is Ginger Spice.
Oh, okay. Damn. I did not. I remember that. Yeah, I remembered Scary and Baby, but I did not remember any of the other ones, to be honest with you.
Dude, that is their full names. They have like stage names now. They are whatever Spice. That's forever. That's all they are.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue. I mean, they became international stars for like a couple years, primarily based on that persona. So I think that's kind of what they're known as. Like they would like for example, if it was Scary, they'd say Scary Spice or Baby Spice. That's their full name. You understand now? Trying to play fucking games here. So Spice World is a 1997 British musical comedy film directed by Bob Spears and written by Kim Fuller. The film stars pop girl group the Spice Girls, who all play themselves. The film, made in a similar vein to the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night, if you've seen that, depicts a series of fictional events leading up to a major concert at London's Royal Albert Hall, liberally interspersed with dream sequences and flashbacks, as well as surreal moments and humorous asides, along with having an antagonist in the form of an overzealous newspaper editor who starts a smear campaign against the girls in an attempt to destroy their reputation for his own benefit. Let's see.
Oh my god.
Let's see if you're convinced, Paul. I mean, like you said, you were into this shit, so maybe this.
Well, I was into the, like I said, I liked the Spice Girls for like 5 seconds, like everybody in the world, and then most people were like, "Nah, that's enough of the Spice Girls."
Yeah, I've had
that happened way before this movie came out.
All right, let's take a little look. Let's see if you guys are sold. You want to see this movie? I didn't want to see it. I had total revulsion. I was like, oh, I just can't imagine watching some piece of shit like this.
When the world is in trouble, when our future is in danger, we call upon one man. But when he's busy, he calls 5 girls. Columbia Pictures presents The Spice Girls.
So they get Roger Moore and do a whole James Bond thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well,
Roger Moore, in my opinion, the worst Bond.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Roger Moore and his work in the James Bond franchise now, but a lot of people are like, he's the best Bond. And that to me is proof he's not, because I don't see Sean Connery down here like doing this shit.
Dude, Connery best Bond forever.
Well, let's put it this way: in 1997, Sean Connery was still appearing in hit fucking movies. Roger Moore was doing this. Just saying, guys. Truth hurts.
We're coming.
In their film debut, Victoria, Emma, Mel B, Jerry, and Mel C. They're ready for action.
Oh, she became
Why
Bob
didn't-
Hoskins?
Why were they trying to use their real names? Why didn't they use their spice names? What was that about?
I don't know. You know what? That's a miscarriage of justice right there.
Girl power. They're dressed to kill
Do you want that shank,
Oh, Bob Hoskins, why?
and thoroughly prepared for any encounter. It's a story of love.
I think with boys.
I just don't know why you go a comedic route if you do this movie. I really don't, because comedies are just. If there's any genre of entertainment that just ages poorly, almost universally, or is just almost always self-referential for the time period it's in, it's comedy.
Yes.
And I mean, but I will say this because I researched these movies before I pulled them, and there has been a thing like a tide turn on this movie. Like at the time it was released, very negative reviews. I'm sure it's not shocking, but time has been lended a kinder lens to this movie. There's actually a small but cult following of this movie, surprisingly.
You should be able to just wheel them in.
Yeah, and order them like a pizza.
Yeah, no cheese.
Compassion.
It's really too hot in here. I need a fan.
See it, then a fan runs in.
Oh my god.
Top tier humor. It's hot in here. I need a fan. I'm an annoying fan. Wow.
I mean, the 90s had a few good comedy movies in them, but you're pretty much right about this. Like, comedy started to die in the 90s and really died in the early 2000s. I mean, it went fucking complete. It just disappeared.
Oh, yeah. This is.
So, yeah, these failed fucking comedies and shit played a huge role in the end of that, because a lot of people like to say, oh, people just got tired of going to comedies. It's like, well, maybe, but like, who gets tired of laughing? It was just, you started to make really low budget, shitty, condescending schlock like this, and people stopped going.
Yeah, and the only reason this movie was even made was just that they just became an international sensation, and it was like, we got to cash in, like, because if that happens to you and you're in a band, like, it's like, oh my god, we've really got to do this, like, and like I think, like I said, like they were definitely trying to, you know, I mean, because it's based on Hard Day's Night, so when they base it on that, it's like they're trying to draw that comparison, which I don't even think is necessarily unfair, because the Spice Girls were super popular at this point. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, you know, maybe go with a different direction, but they went this horrible comedic route with it.
And misunderstanding.
And obviously they're trying to sell people on like, oh, it's like a concert you're going to see too.
It's Christmas for the crows.
What did he say?
I haven't a clue.
That's more like it. This January.
Would you like an hors d'oeuvre?
No. But I'll have one of these pie things.
Make your choice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she didn't understand what an hors d'oeuvre is. Get it, guys?
That's just, isn't it just wonderful?
Yeah. You know, it's bad when that's what they're putting out, is like, this is the selling point. But I mean, look, let's be honest. The real target audience for this was a bunch of like young girls and their families. So it's like, it's basically got to be like PG. That's what you're going to get. You're basically going to get like a PG movie, like maybe some stuff that's like, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty much family friendly crap.
Yep.
No. Sporty.
Which that doesn't work with comedy either. Oh, Elton John, what were you
Spice
thinking?
up your life with the Spice Girls. Spice World.
Yeah, but can they act?
Blah, blah, blah. Girl power, feminism. Do you know what I mean?
So no.
Yeah,
They don't know
well,
shit.
These people, like the Spice Girls, were actual literal industry plants. And it's not even like they didn't even keep it secret back in the day when they made industry plants like this. But this is just a group of people that were thrown together and given personas, because corporations realized, like, if we wait for celebrities to come along, we have to pay people because they're talented and shit.
Yeah.
But if we can make a celebrity and they only exist because of a contract they've signed with us, then we can rule the world.
Oh, and it's not even hard to do. I mean, all you have to do, if you put someone out there, like you said, like over and over again to enough people, you'll get something of a following, especially because like it's so easy to manipulate media where it's like they have a certain segment of the population that's really invested in the lives of celebrities. Like I don't know why. I can't imagine why you would ever give a shit, but there's a group of people that do. So as the popularity of the Spice Girls grew, though, of course, the Walt Disney Company approached the band about making a film. Yeah, why don't you make a film for us? Now this I actually agree with you. The band turned down Disney's offer as they did not like the Disney-fied script. I mean, of course. And then they said, "Praise be to Disney, a wise and noble corporation.
That's right.
If there ever was one, and we are fools for turning down this offer. How dare we do it?" And
Just checking in, Scotty.
Oh, hey,
Just
Mickey.
checking in on you, Scotty, to make sure that you're doing your due diligence to make Disney the top corporation.
Aren't you guys the #1 streaming company now?
Number one, baby, with a bullet.
I'm not even surprised.
Everybody laughed when Disney Plus came out.
Not me.
People are gonna like subscribe for 1 month and then watch all the cartoons and then be done with it. Nope.
They're forgetting all the great properties that Disney has, like Star Wars and the Marvel properties. I mean, now they own Fox Entertainment, The Simpsons.
Better than
Netflix.
There's better than HBO Max.
What?
Better than Hulu. Disney
Damn right.
Plus.
Peyton, I'll give you my soul, Mickey. He already has it. What the fuck do you? I mean, come on.
You did that a long time ago, my little Ben 10 fan.
But Mickey, I cannot believe the Spice Girls turned you down. I think it's a miscarriage of justice. You would have made a much better film than this, which is why we're talking about worst movies here.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Scotty.
Yeah.
They turned me down, and then what happened to their careers? You know what comes to mind, Scotty? A big fucking crater.
Yeah, that's Mickey. I can't disagree with you. There wasn't much after that.
Crater.
They crashed and burned, dude.
Created an inland sea-sized crater. You know what I mean?
It's like the Quetzalcoatl. It's like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, dude. That's how bad they cratered.
Boom! There was nothing but algae on the planet for like 2 millennia-sized crater. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty much where they went.
What that happened?
And your guys' script was so good, Mickey. Yours was a story of a young single mother, one of the girls, fighting hardship to form a band.
Mm-hmm.
That band is the Spice Girls. Kim Fuller, brother of the band's manager Simon Fuller, decided to write the screenplay for Spice Girls movie himself. Ridiculous. I mean, you had a perfectly good Disney
How's
script.
his career doing? What's he done since this?
I don't know.
Now let me list the credits. Sip.
Mickey, you're such a cruel guy. But you know what, Mickey? I mean, I can't hate you too much because look, I mean, you predicted it. You said, "Hey, go with me, and you'll be on top." And they went a different way, and not doing too good now. So, according to this idiot Fuller, the script had to be revised many times to accommodate the growing number of celebrities hoping to take part of the film. Wow. I cannot believe someone would say this.
Netflix is better. Not anymore, bitch. Look at the numbers. Whoop their
That's
asses.
sad. Dude.
Spank their asses.
Netflix is better. I mean, not by numbers. I mean, look, not by any other metric. I mean, Disney's the top entertainment company in the world. I mean, defeating Netflix. Netflix is going to put out these terrible ads. Look, Disney's going to do ads, but no one cares. And they're even doing it. I even got a thing like recently. They're like, "Hey, we're changing our terms of service. We're going to have ads on Disney Plus." And you know what? No one gives a fuck because it's Disney. But Netflix, when they do that on Netflix, open rebellion, dude. I'm sorry. Made a really bad fucking decision. Director Bob Spears has been working in America on the Disney film That Darn Cat at the peak of the girl's popularity. He was unaware of the group when first offered the job until his friend Jennifer Saunders advised that he take it. It's like, look, they're the hottest group in the world right now. You might as well do it. He arrived at a meeting with them in a New York hotel, unaware of what they looked like. So this guy didn't even know who the fucking Spice Girls were. He's like, who? Who's this? Who's the Spice? There's actually a related controversy I pulled, just 'cause I was kind of interested in it. Mickey, have you ever heard of Gary Glitter?
Gary Glitter?
Yeah, he's a glam rock musician. You ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah.
So apparently he appeared in this. He filmed a 4-minute cameo appearance as himself. But shortly before release, unfortunately, he was arrested on child pornography charges. Whoops. Oopsie daisy. Can't believe it. This the Spice Girls and the production team agreed that his cameo should be deleted from the final print, although the band's performance of Glitter's "I'm the leader of the gang, I am" was retained. You can actually watch the Glitter scene online because it's been leaked since then. If you are interested in seeing Gary, convicted pedophile Gary Glitter's performance, you can see it if you want to.
That's what happens when you don't walk away when you're told.
Whoa.
Some child porn just appears on your computer. Whoops.
What happens when you fuck with Mickey? I mean, you fuck with, the authorities or whatever, bad things happen to you because, hey, you suddenly have like this crazy stuff on your computer. Like you have bomb making materials, you have other crazy stuff, you have insurrection. Who even knows, man? Whoa.
Sorry about that. Internet connection crapped out for some
Yeah,
reason.
that happens. A friend. I felt the presence, Paul, that I have not sensed in some time. Mickey came and paid us a visit. It's crazy, Paul. You never get to see Mickey. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I mean, we always seem to miss each other,
I don't know. I mean, Mickey just has to, it's maybe, maybe he fears you, Paul. Maybe that's it.
Maybe so.
Whoa.
Whoa.
We're in screenception here.
There we go. Got to move you over to the other screen. So, yeah. Well, after that dose of horrible trash movies, a little intellectual content for you tonight, Sonny. What do you think about that? I'm gonna learn. I don't know what. Do you know much about the Marcos dynasty?
Not really. No. Like when you said this, what you were doing your episode on, I went and read a bit about it just because I was like, okay, let me see what this is, and I haven't got a feel for what kind of episode it'll be, but it is kind of interesting. Like I always love shit about dictators. I'm always interested and fascinated by it's such a unique position to be in where you have pretty much total control of a country.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a position that's only occupied by colorful characters, no matter what, atrocities they may have committed. I mean, they're all just interesting. They have to be, to be at the top.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you don't get to be at the top of the fucking shit heap unless you've played your cards right and you have enough people backing you where it's like, yeah, you're gonna affect some change in our country. It's gonna be real positive, which is usually just like, hey, you're gonna enrich yourself and then me, right? That's what we're talking about here. Like help the country means help yourself and your friends and your buddies.
So the Marcos family brutalized their citizens under martial law for nearly a decade.
I can't believe it.
They hold the Guinness World Record for the largest ever theft from a government. That's pretty prestigious. And they birthed the current president of the Philippines. So the dynasty continues. Today, we're going to take a look at the de facto dictator, Ferdinand Marcos, his wealth-obsessed wife, Imelda, and their son, Bong Bong.
All, I'm sure, fabulous people that never abuse their position of power at all.
No, as you'll see. Just straight down the line, good folks. So Ferdinand is pictured on the right here. The extreme right of the picture. Born in 1917 in Surat. Named by his parents, Mariano Marcos and Josefa Edralin, after Ferdinand the 6th or the 7th of Spain. So gave him a distinctive name right off the bat. Ferdinand Edralin Marcos was a champion debater, boxer, swimmer, and wrestler while he was in university. In the Philippines.
That's pretty accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely was basically at the top of 3 or 4 different extracurriculars all the time. As a young law student at the University of the Philippines, Marcos was indicted and convicted of murder of a guy named Julio Nalundasan, a man who twice defeated his father for a National Assembly seat. So here's what went down, apparently. On September 20th, 1935, he was celebrating his victory and was shot dead in his home.
Right. How convenient.
Yep. Ferdinand, who was then 18, used his shooting skills to be outside of this party, and he killed this guy with a .22 rifle.
I guess that's one way to obtain political power. Hey, someone actually, like, they get more votes than you and keep beating you. All right, well, they're dead. I'm like, okay, shit. I guess that definitely will work, right?
Yeah. So while he's in jail, he takes the bar exam. And he doesn't just pass it. He passes it with one of the highest scores in history.
Damn.
Like he not only passed it, he aced the motherfucker. He appealed his conviction, argued his case before the Supreme Court of the Philippines, representing himself, which is usually a bad idea, but maybe not in his case. He managed to get his conviction overturned. There was huge, like, piles of evidence of his guilt. They had the murder weapon. They had all kinds of evidence, and anecdotal and otherwise, and eyewitness evidence to put him there with the rifle.
Yeah, it sounds like, though, the political vacuum that murder created, though, enabled the people he had support from to make sure this was all going to line up.
You're probably absolutely right about
I mean, like, because this sounds like, to me, maybe he did do this, I don't know, but it sounds like some myth making, like, he was able, because most times, like, look, these doors can be opened in certain situations, and they are, but this sounds like too convenient, where it's like he passed the bar, one of the highest scores, and then he goes before, and they're like, you know what? Because you have it. No, it's all bullshit. You're free. Go free. It's like, wait a minute. That just sounds too good to be true.
Yeah. So as Scotty said, his father, Mariano Marcos, and godfather, Judge Chua, may have used their political power to influence the outcome of his case.
I mean, almost certainly.
So during World War II, his myth continues to grow. He was an officer with the Philippine Armed Forces. He fought against the Japanese invasion as a combat intelligence officer on the 21st Infantry Division of that country. He saw action in a 3-month-long battle at Bataan, in which Allied forces lost Luzon to the Japanese. He survived the Bataan Death March.
Okay, well, yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. He survived the Bataan Death March. That's like a famous, just like, example of brutality in warfare. It's like it's a go-to example. That's insane.
It was a week-long, horrible ordeal that killed about a quarter of Japan's American and Filipino POWs on Luzon. Marcos was released from the prison camp and then supposedly joined the resistance. Marcos later claims of having been a leader of the Filipino guerrilla resistance movement, where he was a central factor in his political success. But U.S. government archives revealed that he actually played little or no part in the anti-Japanese activities during 1942 to 45. So,
just
once again,
acumen.
Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of people question some of these stories because he was the undisputed ruler of the country that he served in, so he can make his, you know what I mean? He can
his
make
tale whatever he wants,
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's 100%. Like that's exactly what that reads of. It's like something similar to like Kim Il Sung's history or something, or Kim Jong Il's. You know, It's like, okay, right. Then this happened. Oh yeah, you were a big freedom fighter. It's like all intelligence suggests that he was barely involved, and later on, when obviously a victory was achieved, he was able to exploit that. Like, I was right there fighting along with you guys. Just remember me? It's like, no, not really.
So, documents uncovered by the Washington Post in 1986 suggest Marcos's release in August 1942 was affected because his father had cooperated with the Japanese military authorities as a publicist.
So actually his family was a bunch of collaborators with the enemy. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
His father, Mariano, was executed by Filipino guerrillas in 1945 for the crime of being a Japanese propagandist and collaborator during World War II.
Yeah, no shock there.
He was actually drawn and quartered.
Oh, man, they went medieval on his ass, dude.
Yeah. And they used one of these buffaloes they used this to pull on the ropes that would draw and quarter you.
Oh my fucking! Are you serious?
And then they just hung his eviscerated corpse on a tree and left it up there.
No, they didn't fuck around. Yeah, it wasn't just like they shot him in the head. Like he had a horrible, painful death.
Yeah.
And you'd figure, honestly, too, wouldn't that be the end of someone's political career? You'd almost assume that, right? It's like, I mean, look, his dad basically was participating with not the Nazis. I always want to go to that, but the Japanese Axis forces, yeah, like who slaughtered his countrymen like nothing. But okay, yeah, great. But like, so you figure like having people knowing that about him, that would hold him back politically. But I guess he probably didn't really care too much about democracy and shit anyway. So I don't think that was much of a factor, I'm assuming.
So, fun fact, Filipinos who failed marksmanship during World War II used their family swords and knives to fight the Japanese in the trenches, krisses, bolos, etc. Cool.
Fuck. It's pretty hardcore. You know, it's like knowing you're going up against a gun. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I want to fight with a sword if there's a gun.
Detractors say that Marcos spent the early post-war period filing false compensation claims for wartime damages with the United States government. He made a claim for almost $600,000 for 2,000 imaginary cattle that his father never owned.
So he was a scammer too.
Yeah.
Dude, this guy.
So this is why these guys are always interesting, because, you know, they cheat their way to the top.
100%.
So after the end of the war and the establishment of the republic, the first president of the independent Philippine Republic was Manuel Rojas, pictured here. Appointed Ferdinand Marcos as a special technical assistant. Later, Marcos ran as a representative of the 2nd District under the Liberal Party, the Administration Party, is what it was called. During the campaign, he told constituents, "Elect me as a congressman now, and I pledge you a Ilocano president in 20 years," a type of ethnic group.
Okay.
He was elected thrice as a congressman. Had a long, pretty decent congressional career. In 1959, he was catapulted to the Senate, the highest number of votes. He immediately became minority floor leader in the Senate.
So once he learns, like, whoa, I seem to be in politics, like, that's something a lot of scumbags, it takes them a while in life to realize, but then they're like, oh, if I'm in politics, I'm basically insulated from the government actually investigating me because I have political power and I can stop it.
It fits people like this like a glove. Like, it's, how do you ensure that the government never turns against you? Well, you become the government.
You're part of the government. So like anyone that's going to investigate you, it's like you're actually a force in that country where it's like, no, you can't investigate him. Why not? Because we know he's corrupt, but he's also paying us off. So if you try to fucking bust him, you're going to bust us. So you ain't doing shit. You're going to shut the fuck up and go back to wherever the fuck else you were doing.
Lots of the Filipinas you worked with think Marcos was wonderful. I mean, yeah, this family has a complicated history for sure. Like, we're going to hear about a lot of horrible things that this family did tonight. But even so, the cult of personality around this family was so huge that their son is now president.
Well, that's how it's cultivated. But it's cultivated carefully. I mean, like, I'm not at all surprised. Like, for years, like, you have to imagine if this person was in political power for decades and people were propagandized for decades, whatever bullshit, there's a group of this population there that believes all of it. Hook, line, and sinker, has no problem with it. And obviously, you said with his son being elected, it's like, there you go. There's enough of those people in that society where it's like, we actually want voluntarily through a democratic action to have this person lead our country, which that's crazy to me.
So he did 10 years in the Senate. And then in 1965, he was a prominent member of the Liberal Party, obviously, by this time. Just a long-standing, well-known member. He broke with the party, though, and broke with the president in doing so. And he ran against the Liberal president at the time, was Diosdado Macapagal. There we go. The campaign was expensive and bitter. Marcos won and was inaugurated president on December 30th, 1965. So he's ascended to the ultimate position.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, dude, if they say scammers can't make it to the top, this Marcos dude, Ferdinand Marcos, proves otherwise.
Yep. Here he is being sworn in as president. And his swearing in here marked a beginning of his basically 2-decade-long reign. Even though the 1935 Philippine Constitution set a limit of only 2 4-year terms in office, whatever. That's no problem to overcome when you're, the dictator of a country.
No, not at all. The Constitution says that about other people. It doesn't say that about me. There's an exception for me, or I'll just change it.
He was probably intelligent to do so, but soon after he was elected, he set about developing really close relations with all of the officers of the Philippine military. Because
of course,
he knows where the revolution eventually fucking catapults, and he's like, if I got these guys in my pocket, I'm protected. He began expanding the armed forces, obviously just showering it with money. And allowed loyal generals to stay in their positions, like all the way till they died, basically.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Of course, he's gonna get their undying support. Then, I mean, like he's basically he's expanding the military. He's giving them a huge budget, which of course they can just launder whatever money they need from.
Before this, the Philippines, like a lot of places, had mandatory retirement age, and he extended it for them so that they could just lay around all day and still be generals.
Yeah, collect a huge pension, their kickbacks and everything. Because obviously, in a position like that, that's about the kickbacks. They want to keep getting that money every month, which is where they make their real money. Because they probably have official government salaries that aren't shit.
Right.
So they're like, I got to make my money some other way. Having obviously in that country, the Philippines, obviously that's political power. It's like I'm a general. I mean, that's powerful anywhere, to be honest with you. But especially a country where it's like, I could rise up against you, like you said. So he very carefully. I mean, like, if anything, his political acumen has to be commended because he immediately knew any threat and his ascent to power just neutralized it. Oh, military's on my side. And of course, I'm sure the next phase of this is propagandizing people to just love him. Oh, he's the greatest leader we've ever had.
Yep. He also developed close relations with the American government, the Johnson administration. He allowed the limited Philippine involvement in the Vietnam War through the Philippine Civic Action Group. So, the Philippines didn't commit a ton of resources, but they did allow, I think, transit of American resources and shit. So it was a very important part of the Vietnam War, and he just basically secured himself a strong relation with the most powerful government in the world.
Yeah, I mean, a smart move, smart allies to have. It's like, yeah. I mean, also, the Philippines are in Southeast Asia, I believe, right? I mean, I'm not a geography major, but I would assume that's where they are. So obviously, he's in a strategic position as well.
And, his close relationship with both of these things, his military and the United States, would become important later in his dictatorial rule, of course. So an investment that we'll see paid off. Marcos, who's a Catholic.
Oh, rather be watching Stevie? All right, I'll grant you your wish.
Yeah, get out of here. Marcos, a Catholic, believed that he had a divine mandate to lead the Philippines and claimed to receive visions directly from God.
Naturally. I mean, that's helpful, right? I mean, like, why are you doing this? Well, divinely, of course. Going back to the divine right of kings. Like, it's not just by chance that you're the king. God wants you to be the king.
Of course. He also drew on Philippine mythology, referring to himself as Malakas, strength, and his wife Imelda as Maganda, beauty, in reference to the Philippine Adam and Eve. So he cool. This is a picture that drew lovingly of the couple. This is not meant to be a meme. This is, was made as a portrait of Ferdinand Marcos as Adam and Imelda Marcos as Eve.
I love it, dude. I love how far down the rabbit hole it goes with dictators. But yeah, this is totally common. You put yourself into we're basically a part of the fabric of this land. We're so important to it that it's we're basically destined to lead.
Yeah. And what do you think, Scotty? Was he a true believer or not?
No. Oh, not at all.
You're
dude.
absolutely right. His
Not at all.
relationship with the church was pretty much just exploitative. He used the church as a shield whenever it suited him politically, invoked it when he knew that it would win him points against, people that spoke out against him.
He just knew how to play traditional people, and like he knew that they hold weight in that society. So he's just pandering to them. That's how he panders to that group. Like, I'm a traditionalist. Like, yeah, I believe all the stuff you believe in. And then you're right. Then as soon as there's criticism, he just jumps behind the church, and then the church is defending him. Like, well, this is the right president because he says all the things we want to hear. It's like a modern analog for this is Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't know. Mr. Trump, what are your favorite Bible passages? I love it all. It's great. It's tremendous. It's like he doesn't know shit about the Bible. He doesn't give a fuck about the Bible. But he knows people want to hear him say that. So if he pays lip service to it, he has a group of defenders built in.
Right. And like just like this veil of moral rectitude that comes with being associated with a major religion.
Yes, I'm holy. Yes.
Yes, I'm a passionately holy man. So he was the first president to be reelected to a second term in the Philippines. Whether his reelection was rigged is a subject of mass debate. It probably was. In any case, at least in a lot of key ways. Maybe it wasn't entirely financed by him, but he definitely, you can tell that this dude is going to squeeze every lemon he comes across and get the juice. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So in any case, he consolidated his holds on power by developing a cult of personality, taking notes from people like Stalin, Mao.
Mm-hmm.
He required every business and classroom to have a picture of him up. So he had to have and it was the official presidential portrait. So he got to control how he looked and what it was. So he also had giant billboards all over the country that were just straight pro Marcos propaganda. You just display them all over the place.
Well, it feels like it feels like he's a part of your life. You know what I mean? There feels like there's like an actual connection with this person, even though there's not a real connection. It's totally parasocial, but you feel it because everywhere you look, you see this face. So it's like this. It's almost like a comforting thing. So like when someone's like, "Oh, there's people in this country that love him," or people live here or wherever all around the world. Like, "Oh, this guy, he was a great guy." That's why there's just a familiarity with that person.
He was considered a really handsome man in the country when he was in power.
Never hurts.
Yeah. And he married a former beauty queen, Imelda Romualdez, in 1954. Her glamour added popularity. However, that glamour would come at a huge cost to the country. They're differing numbers. Well, like when we're talking about how much they scammed in luxury goods and properties and just their lifestyle and shit. Like I'd say a median would be 10 billion.
Ooh.
And we're talking about 10 billion in the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s. You know what I mean? So
the country was their piggy bank at that point.
By his second term in office, his leadership had seriously impoverished the nation. Campaign expenses, it was something like 50 million at the time, led to a 50% devaluation of the Philippine peso. And he was blamed directly for this in the media. Leftist and student activists led protests, which were violently suppressed by his security forces. The carefully crafted Camelot atmosphere of Marcos's first inauguration, in which he cast himself, he basically would compare himself to JFK, and Imelda was, Jackie Kennedy.
Yeah, he was all about the image.
Yes.
He was definitely, you can tell from this guy was not a real leader. He didn't understand the ramifications of the policies he put forward. He didn't care. He probably had vassals and people that actually ran the government. He's the face of the government, essentially, is what he sounds like. I mean, he has all the power, of course, too. But so if you want someone dead or whatever, that's going to happen. The day-to-day details doesn't sound like that kind of guy. Where it's like, some dictators are like that. It's like they run everything. It's like nothing happens without them. It sounds like the kind of guy where it's like, you figure all that out. Here's what I want, and that's it.
Yeah. the Marcos family genuinely stole enough money to stop the Philippines from being a technological powerhouse comparable to Japan. Yeah, I mean,
Well, wrecked the economy too.
Yeah, I mean, and it tanked the economy, but of course, we know that the people at the top of those economies always benefit when the economy tanks. So
yeah,
because they get everything for fucking dirt cheap when it starts to pick back up.
Ooh, cheap land.
So the sentiments that Camelot atmosphere started to crack in 1970, and there was just like a general dissatisfaction with what had been one of the most dishonest elections in Philippine history. There were open fears that Marcos was going to change the constitution to maintain power. Basically, like all the shit people were worried about Trump doing.
Yeah, basically the elites are loving his reign, and everyone that's not part of that group is just suffering horribly and is like, this is horrible. But of course, anytime you speak up, the thugs come in and shut you up. You're not allowed to have that opinion. You can only say he's great, he's wonderful, even though everything around you is crumbling.
So on January 30th, 1970, there was a straight out street battle right in front of the presidential palace.
Damn.
It was, dissatisfied people in the Philippines against riot police. It resulted in many injuries and was a huge kind of like blow to his image. Random bombings officially attributed to communists, but probably set by government agent provocateurs. So he was doing like the false flag shit. He sent some government agents out, like, go bomb some stuff, and then we'll say the commies are back or whatever. And that's
I have to protect you because, I mean, obviously he doesn't want to use the force. Like he has the ability to put these things down, but you're right. There is a political cost to it. It's the visibility. So,
but if he labels it a communist uprising, then he's got he's got justification to go ahead and really crack down on it. These demonstrators tried to storm the palace and came close a few times, apparently. Although it's never been conclusively shown who was responsible for any of the bombings. Marcos blamed leftists and suspended habeas corpus.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which is a prelude to martial law. But evidence subsequently pointed again to government involvement. So, he engineered. He took this uprising against him and turned the rebels against him into evil communists that had come back, and then used that to basically disconnect people from their constitutional rights in the Philippines so that he could rule over them under a military dictatorship.
Yeah, and brutally suppress them and not have to actually have an election either. So, I mean, because obviously the last election was probably rigged, so it's like he knows at the end of this term, here's the thing. Being in power, you make tons and tons and tons of enemies. So he's looking at that like, after my term is over, they're going to be gunning for my ass. Like every enemy I had in the Philippines is going to be gunning for me. The next person's not going to care that much about protecting me. They're just going to want me out of the way. Hey, let's just make the term limits go away. I now just rule the country.
So Marcos officially instituted martial law just in the lead up to the 1973 elections, which, if they were fair, he would have lost in a landslide. His 2 presidential terms were complete, but he planned to continue to lead as prime minister under a new parliamentary system. So he immediately restructured the government to place him in a position that didn't have any limits on its term.
Oh, kind of like how Putin wasn't president of Russia for some
right. Yeah, there was
every
6 years or something. Putin's quote not president of Russia anymore.
Right. It's like, yeah, he's not the leader.
Somebody else serves a single term, and then he becomes president of Russia again.
Oh, look, I'm back. Who can imagine that?
He also called for a constitutional convention. He bribed political leaders such that his presidential term was extended. And
what?
Yep. And
keep going.
A parliamentary system was put in place. So he took him back to parliament.
Yeah, you know what, guys? The other system is going to limit me too greatly. Let's just have a parliamentary system where, like, I have as long as I have a majority, whatever party.
Parliament, by the way, the first parliaments in the world were established to like, I don't know, argue the people's side against a king. So you can see we're taking a pretty big step back. A variety of leftist organizations sprang up in opposition to Marcos, many of which were under the umbrella group called the National Democratic Front. Amnesty International estimates the toll of the martial law in the Philippines under Marcos was about 70,000 people imprisoned, at least 34,000 people tortured, and 3,240 documented as killed. So, and
Probably way more, but that's what they
Right.
can prove. Yeah.
Many also went missing. Their bodies were never found. In addition to these, up to 10,000 Moro Muslims were killed in massacres by the Philippine army during this lockdown. So he used it to consolidate the religion of the country as well, so that he could
Right.
be the supreme. You know, he probably had designs of being ahead of that as well in the Philippines.
Well, that's, really, if you're a right-leaning leader, that's your greatest threat is the other people who are like you, because you can't crack down on them. If you crack down on them, you have no base. So like you have to appease them, but you also have to make sure you have, they remember who's on top. Because if they have power over you, then you're not ultimately the dictator. You have to listen to them or consider them. Now you still have to do that to a degree, but if he's head of the church or whatever, or he has position over them, and they know like, look, I can still do shit to you, but I'm not going to as long as you agree with me. That's obviously going to put him in a better and stronger position.
Yeah, of course. There were tons of political prisoners during this time, and a significant amount of torture was inflicted on these prisoners.
Of course.
They faced physical, sexual, and psychological torture, sometimes blending of all three. They were made to play Russian roulette with another prisoner.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. No fun.
Oh, it's definitely not fun for anybody, but really not fun for one person in the they were forced to eat urine, feces. There's this thing called water curing, which is they are forced to drink a bunch of water and then they beat them until they throw it all up. Pepper torture, which is just putting, rubbing really spicy pepper in your eyes, on your genitals.
Oh, fuck, dude.
In your ears.
On your nuts, man. That's just wrong, man. There's a whole level of wrong to that. Like, that's gonna be burning for fucking ever. Like, just rubbing pepper and spices, like, ugh.
But during all this, there was he had that strong relationship, with the United States. By 1977, the armed forces had quadrupled in the country. Over 60,000 Filipinos had been arrested politically. But because some of the dissidents were communists, the U.S. was like, "Oh, good job."
Oh, right. He may be a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. I mean, so like, yeah, obviously you can see this guy is all about power. He does not give a fuck how he keeps it. He does not give a fuck who he has to cozy up to or what he has to do. And he knows, like, yeah, hey, those Americans over there really don't want communism over here. So I'll just say, like, yeah, I might be violating their political rights and killing them and torturing them, but I'm keeping the communists out.
Yep. According to Raymond Bonner's book, Waltzing with a Dictator, The Marcoses and Making of American Policy, Nixon had in fact known about Marcos's plan several days before the actual declaration, because the latter had personally phoned him twice to inform him that he was going to steal power. The U.S. president reportedly answered that he was all right to a dictatorship by Marcos, so long as it would help further American interests in the region.
Yep, and like I said, they don't give a fuck.
Nope.
And it just shows you, like, freedom and democracy or whatever, and then letting another country, this guy's gonna be a brutal dictator. Is you gonna align with American interests? Yeah, who gives a fuck? Fuck them. Let them suffer.
According to that same book, the ambassador told Marcos the United States was prepared to back his regime, but it would be necessary for quelling the communist insurgency. So they just used the communism pretense. In 1981, Vice President George H.W. Bush praised Marcos for his, quote, adherence to democratic principles and to the democratic process.
Right. Okay. Of course. Yeah, totally. Like, he just has changed his entire government to be aligned with his beliefs. But yeah, he cares about democracy deeply.
From the declaration of martial law in 1972 until 1983, the U.S. government provided over $2.5 billion in bilateral military and economic aid to the Marcos regime. and about 5.5 billion through multilateral institutions such as the World Bank. So he was just, you got to imagine he got his hand on every other one of those dollars.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, of course, like he treated this country like his personal funds. So of course, like anything that's going to come in there, any deal that's going to be made. I mean, like you said it, like these other countries know he's a dictatorship. This is a dictatorship. They know he's basically stealing money from all these people. They don't give a fuck, and he's actively doing it to enrich himself. So like they're basically part and parcel with it, because if they want anything, like basically at that time, anything they want to be had to be done internationally in the Philippines, this guy had to be bribed. I mean, one of probably several people, but he's getting a huge ass bribe. Like whatever you want, okay, give this guy a couple $1 million then, and then of course the World Bank. We're basically lending this scumbag money. So the world's like, yeah, you're a dictator, but you know what? Your credit's good with us. Here's some more cash.
Yep. So there's just widespread evidence that the United States knew about everything he was doing and sanctioned it.
Of course they did.
There was a 1979 Senate report that stated that U.S. officials were aware as early as 1973 that Philippine government agents were in the United States specifically to harass Filipino dissidents who were speaking out against the Marcos regime. And they just let it happen. In June 1981, 2 anti-Marcos labor activists were assassinated outside of a union hall in Seattle. On at least one occasion, CIA agents blocked an FBI investigation of Philippine agents in the country.
Yeah, we got these guys here like doing some shady shit. That's classified national security.
Yeah, we got our eye on that. You guys don't touch that. That's important to us. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I'll just kill labor activists in America. No need to worry.
So, as you might expect, it was all about money. During the period of martial law in the Philippines, billions and billions of Philippine pesos were stolen, put into the Marcos's coffers, just right out of government funds and right out of banks and shit. I mean,
like pay to the order of me.
Yep.
Like, I'll take it.
Among the sources of Marcos's wealth are alleged to be diverted foreign economic aid from the U.S. government military aid. So he was just pocketing a large amount of the $5 billion that the United States was sending its way every year. There was huge discretionary funds at Marcos's disposal as a reward for sending some Filipino troops to Vietnam. So see his involvement early on and being a supporter of the Vietnam War paid off in fucking spades.
Yep. It's all about cash. It's like, look, you give me a bunch of money and I'll do it. I mean, just think about that's probably like, honestly, his level of corruption was probably a relief to the CIA and the American foreign policy. It's like, oh, wow, that's great. He just wants a bunch of money. Yeah, it's simple. Here, give him a bunch of fucking money. Like
he was like a little Asian Tony Soprano. You know what I mean? He was getting kickbacks from all the public works contracts over the whole 2 decades of his rule. So, he had his hand and he double dipping, triple dipping. Who cares? Estimates for the total amount of plunder, like I said, there's a range, $5 billion to $30 billion. Even with the conservative estimates, the Marcoses hold the Guinness World Record for largest ever theft from a government.
Now, I think, for being honest, that distinction probably goes to Putin. I'm like, it's his personal. I mean, like, no one actually knows this outside of Russia what his actual net worth is, but it's estimated to be like $70 to $100 billion. It's insane. Yeah. Like that he basically has done with his country. So I mean, like, but obviously we at least have some estimate here because I'm assuming he's no longer in power.
Yeah. So supposedly part of their ill-gotten gains, if you'll remember, I think it was actually a Me and You episode too. We talk about stashed hidden treasures.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And, Imelda Marcos later on in the timeline was, she was running for president.
Naturally.
But also facing 50 criminal charges regarding all the stolen money. She came up, because if you're going to say, well, no, we didn't steal the money, but you're still going to live opulently, you've got to have a story for like where the money came, where did it come from?
Of course, yeah. Like, how'd you get your wealth then?
And so she said that he found this lost cache of Japanese gold hidden by General Yamashita during World War II to keep it safe from looting.
Of course.
And that's what it was. That's where all this opulence came from.
Well, you know what, Paul? If I ever come into ill-gotten gains, that's what I'm going to say. Like, well, how did you get this? Like, look, I actually went and found Cortez's treasure. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, like they thought they burned the ships, but actually it was a Spanish galleon loaded with Aztec gold. I found it, and now that's why I'm rich.
And you know what she claimed, Scotty? She claimed that no, that we were not looting the treasury. We actually helped. We gave some of our gold to the people during the economic crisis in the 60s and early 70s.
Wow. What champions of humanitarianism?
She said she had the gold hidden in several places, including the walls of their home in northern Luzon. That might have not been the smartest thing to say in a politically unstable country, but whatever. She declined to say where the remaining gold was stored. She never gave an estimate of its actual value to give you an idea of how she could live so opulently. You know, it's just, that was the excuse. I don't know.
Yeah,
We found
$5 billion. She found $5 billion in gold, Paul.
Yeah,
clearly that's what happened. I mean, because like, not to mention the fact that you found that much gold. I mean, it would be like probably like the largest find of gold like ever. You know what I mean? Like maybe besides like huge deposits of gold.
Yeah.
So to imagine like you found $5 to $10 billion worth of gold, then sold it, because obviously you have cash. I mean, they had tons of money, and no one noticed that whole time. Like no one was like, "Hey, you notice that family sells like tons and tons of gold, like Japanese gold, by the way, too. Like not just like, I mean, obviously if it was Japanese gold, there had to be some identifying mark that says, "Hey, this is gold from the treasury of Japan" or whatever."
Well, she never produced any of that.
I mean, of course, that's what I'm saying. So her story is like, I mean, for anyone to even buy it, I mean, the most cursory logical examination of it is completely just, there's no way. It falls flat on its fucking face immediately as an explanation.
So this guy on the left here was locked up for 7 years under Marcos, a political arrest. He was a former senator that spoke out against Marcos and his ascendancy to power. So, of course, he went straight to jail for that shit.
Yeah, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to a Philippine jail.
Marcos, in kind of a rare, I think he thought maybe it would be a good thing for him to do politically, but he allowed this guy to leave the country to get a coronary bypass in the United States on the agreement that Aquino, this guy here, would not say anything. He wouldn't speak out against the Marcos regime while he was there. He would keep his mouth shut about that. He would just get the operation and come home. Aquino broke his promise, called on the President Marcos to return the Philippines to democracy and end martial rule. He urged reconciliation between the government and opposition. After 3 years of exile in the United States, Aquino decided to return. Probably a bad move. On August 21st, 1983, former Senator Aquino returned to the Philippines. He didn't even get off the tarmac. They shot him dead like on the tarmac of the Manila International Airport while he was in the custody of the Aviation Security Command.
What the fuck, dude? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, they didn't even let him like set foot off the airport grounds. They just fucking shot him as he was coming out of the
I mean, they couldn't even wait like a fucking second. Like,
or do it, you know, there was no pretext. This was just an open assassination. It stunned the whole nation and the world because it happened, and you know, with cameras and shit on it. It was ridiculous. There's a mass show of sympathy and awe. About 2 million people attended the funeral. So Marcos, you know, he was losing the PR battle at this point.
I mean, clearly. I mean, like, he's done everything wrong as far as like by the actual people of the nation. Like, how could anyone even fucking possibly for a second think this guy gives a fuck about them? I mean, like, actively, like, he has someone leave the country to get an operation they need. And like, they can't even fucking wait. He can't even fucking wait for him to actually set foot on the ground before he's dead.
They made him a martyr, basically. So in the face of all these, public discontent and now pressure from foreign allies, he called a snap presidential election in 1986 with more than a year left in his term. He selected Arturo Tolentino as his running mate. The opposition united behind Aquino, the guy he killed, his widow, Corazon Aquino. It's her here sitting by her husband's grave. It was widely asserted that Marcos managed to defeat Aquino and retain the presidency in the election, only through massive voting fraud on the part of his supporters.
Hey, sometimes, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Right. And in this case, he had to steal the election.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to win legitimately. Just
Right.
gonna have to steal this one. No big deal.
Deeply discredited at home and abroad for this dubious electoral quote-unquote victory. Marcos held fast to his presidency as the Philippine military split between supporters of his and Aquino's legitimate right to the presidency. A tense standoff that ensued between the two sides ended only when Marcos fled the country, February 25th, 1986, at the urging of U.S. officials. On February 25th, 1986, American helicopters showed up and helped this rat escape his sinking ship, and took him to Guam, and then into quote unquote exile in the horrible dystopia of Hawaii.
Oh man, they really cracked the whip on him, didn't they? They really.
You know what I heard, Scotty? When they brought him his pina colada made in the husk of an actual coconut, no little umbrellas.
Wow.
No tiny umbrellas for you.
Brave. Truly brave. So America bailed them out in the end. Because you know what? You ever seen the movie like Lord of War? And it's like the end scene where, the guy's a arms dealer and he gets busted and he's like, you know what? I expect to be paid. I'm never gonna be criminally charged. It's like that. He had been part of a corrupt system. So it's like, oh, we'll buy you off. We'll send in, air support. We'll get your ass out of the country, take you to a fucking tropical paradise, and go, you know what? Now you've learned your lesson. You get to keep all your money, get to live in the lap of luxury, and
Yep.
right into the sunset.
So when the family left the Philippines in 1986 to go into exile in Hawaii, their cargo was ridiculous. It was like a Spanish treasure galleon or some shit.
Oh my God.
They brought 24 gold bricks, not bars, bricks.
Oh shit. Oh, so heavy.
Each one of them
fucking
engraved
gold.
with, quote, "to my husband for our 24th anniversary." So for their 24th anniversary, she got a gold brick for every year of their anniversary.
Right. That they found from the Japanese occupation, like
Right.
40 years, like 30 or 40 years before. Right. Yeah.
And that's not all. They had 413 pieces of assorted jewelry with them, 27 million worth of Philippine money. On their exile alone, the value of the money and properties they carried with them to the United States amounted to $15 million.
Oh, those poor people. How will they live? How will they even live? Yeah, exile in Hawaii, and the scumbag gets to. I mean, even though the CIA and everyone else knew exactly what this guy was doing, his human rights abuses, murder, subverting law, like basically rigging elections, everything he had done, he gets to live in. This just shows you like some people just get away with it, and he's a case of he totally got away with it. He gets to
I mean,
live in
not only
Hawaii.
did he get away with it, he never stopped asserting that he was the rightful ruler of the Philippines. Never gave up on his dreams of returning and being welcomed back with open arms. Over a year after he fled his homeland, he started plotting to return to his country. He was going to invade with a bunch of mercenary soldiers and basically install himself back at the palace or whatever the fuck. And these were uncovered via now probably pretty heavy American surveillance on him. He was going to be accompanied by armed soldiers. He intended to travel by boat and land in his home province in the Philippines, where he still enjoyed mass support even after he was ousted. So he was going to go to like wherever the heartland of the loyalists was. When asked what would happen to then President Corazon Aquino, who was installed after the revolution, Marcos gave his reply, "What I would like to see happen is that we take her hostage, not to hurt her.
Whatever, dude.
If necessary, forcibly take her."
So basically, they wanted this guy in America so they can keep him under wraps. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I'm gonna go invade back and invade the Philippines. Like, nah, you're not going to do that. Like you won't be going to the Philippines. Like they don't want you back.
Well, for some reason, someone along the evidence chain made this whole thing public, like released a bunch of tapes of him talking about how he was going to, kidnap the president and all this stuff. He was placed under the U.S. government couldn't have just let him get away with it. He was in America doing this shit, plotting a revolution in another country.
Right.
Like, they had to fucking do something. So he was placed under what they called island arrest. He was not allowed to go anywhere off the island that he lived on, Hawaii, without approval from immigration and naturalization.
Right. So they want to keep him under wraps. That's all it was.
And so it was only a couple years later he died. He died in 1989. I guess there were several efforts made to recover the money stolen by the Marcos family and pay restitution to his victims. Imelda was indicted for embezzlement in 1990 with a $5 million bond in the United States. She had most of her assets frozen, but courts eventually ruled in her favor, Scotty.
Oh man, the story about the the Japanese gold. Fucking look, I didn't steal money from the Philippines. That money was found in exchange for Japanese gold that they in turn probably, if you believe that, stole it from other people. So
You know what their basis was? It wasn't her. It was Ferdinand that was the real culprit of the theft. and
right? She had nothing to do with it.
She couldn't be guilty of by association, Scotty. So she gets to keep her money.
Even though it was ill-gotten. So someone else did the ill-gotten part of it. So even though
She
we
gets to
all
keep
know, yeah, even though we know, she knew. I mean, come on. She had no idea what he was doing in the country. Like, oh, what? People aren't happy? Really? Oh, who could have fucking imagined?
So in 1995, some 10,000 Filipinos won a U.S. class action lawsuit against the Marcos estate. The claims were filed by victims and their surviving relatives, consequent on torture, execution, disappearances. The Swiss government, initially reluctant to respond to allegations that stolen funds were held in Swiss accounts, which they were, has returned 684 million of Marcos's stash. However, those efforts will likely not continue, as now their son is the ruler of the country. So yeah, I don't know. What can you do?
I mean, now that essentially their family is back in power. So you know what? The country sucked, but didn't suck quite as much. So let's give him another chance. Come on, it can't be as bad as his dad, right? Maybe he'll do better.
I suppose we'll see. Let's see. I had a whole section on Imelda Marcos, but we're gonna skip ahead and just look at Bong Bong here.
Bong bong, bong bong.
So their legacy continues. You can tell, like that's I guess the point is, like, even though this person is pretty incontrovertible, or this family is pretty incontrovertibly like responsible for looting their own country and fomenting revolution, all this shit. There's still enough people in the country to legitimize one of the members of their family. How much of that is due to just money being showered on the relevant authorities? That's not for you and I to know.
Yeah, we don't obviously live in the Philippines, but I have to imagine he has support of some kind.
According to the 2022 presidential election in the Philippines, he won with 60% of the vote.
Wow. But I mean, a lot of countries in the world, though, when you have super incompetent leadership and it doesn't really work out, and it's like, well, it's at least a familiar face, right? We know them, but the devil, better the devil you know than the one you don't. We've tried this, and I think if the common person doesn't really see their life improving dramatically, they're just going to go, well, why not give it back to them? Maybe there'll be some to that, and you have enough people spinning the web of like, when they ruled the country, it was great. It was much better. Well, enough of that shit where it's like they're too young to actually know that that's bullshit. I mean, there's a number of factors that can really affect that. I think. I mean, that's probably what it ultimately is. Like, it's what they know, and you have enough people spinning that, like, it's like 1950s America, the perfect time. There was this perfect time back in the day. You weren't alive, and you don't know if it's true, but a bunch of people say it's true. So maybe it is.
So there was a lot of discussion about whether or not, he would be allowed to visit the United States as a head of state because he had a standing $353 million contempt order issued by the District Court of Hawaii in connection with human rights abuses linked to his family's previous rule and the money that was stolen and yada yada. But don't worry about it. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman confirmed that Marcos will not be arrested if he enters the U.S. once he's president, because he will be protected by diplomatic immunity. So there you go.
Right. Yep. So yeah, he gets. You know what? You just got to scam your way to the top. Just got to scam your way to the top, Paul. That's all I've learned from this episode. These shitty movies, scam. The leader of the Philippines, scam. And it's like, you know what? You can rip people off, steal their money, do whatever. As long as you get someone in your family back in power, doesn't matter. So that's what all those Trumpers were doing. Like, get Ivanka back in power, get someone like that. And I mean, look, if there's a template here tonight, I'm worried, dude. We might have Ivanka for president. We might have fucking, well, I would say Don Jr., but she's not attractive enough.
There's no, and he's not smart enough. I mean, I hate to say it, like the intelligence quotient required is lower, but he's just a fucking dunce, man.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I think Ivanka is pretty smart. So I would not be shocked if she has a political career. Maybe not president, but a senator or some shit.
I pardon my dad for doing anything bad.
Yeah,
he was actually a great American patriot.
So that's the Marcoses, and I think that's our show for the night.
That's all, folks.
We're gonna move on over to the Patreon here in 10 or 15 minutes, and have a little just shoot the shit over there in our little grease trap episode, as we always do.
Trap. Yeah.
So sign up if you want to check that out. Thank you for hanging.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Get out of here.